Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a blue collar wine show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And when it comes to spending wine dollars wisely, I do something every month in my department, the store I work at, Kings Market, Friday Harbor. I put a stack of wine in the front of the wine aisle, and it's my pick of the month. I do it every month. I pick a special wine for that month. Now, almost every time that wine is under $15. Almost every time. Sometimes I get a better deal on those wines. And this month, the wine is $8.99, which is stupid. $9. Now, my criteria for the pick of the month is, well, it's simple. But being in retail really gives you a huge advantage. You can work in a restaurant and learn a lot of stuff. Of course, most sommeliers do work in restaurants. But at retail level, you have the same customers coming over and over again. You learn their palates. You learn what they like. You get an idea of retail palate versus personal palate. If I just sold wines that I liked, my department might not be so successful. So the only time of the pick of the month I lean away from, let's say, here's what I call it, 80% wines. I believe that the wine I'm stacking in the front of the aisle as my pick of the month is an 80% wine. What does that mean? It means that I believe that 80% of the people that buy it are going to like it and probably come back for more. Not just because of the price. I mean, yes, some people buy inexpensive wine because they're on a budget and they buy it. But these wines that I pick are really good quality wines. They're just not expensive. And most of the time I get these wines out of Spain. Why can Spanish wines be so inexpensive? Well, let's look at this. This is Gil Family Wines, Ana Rivera Monastrell. Made from organic grapes. It's $9, $8.99. Which, again, I often use this term, and it's just a stupid price for the quality. Now, why can Spain put out wines for $8.99? In fact, I just had a customer ask me about a South African Chenin Blanc, and it was not expensive, and she was reluctant to buy it, just because of the price. A lot of people are like that. If the wine is inexpensive, they don't trust it. Well, I've developed a group of people that come to the store that trust my judgment, and so I feel a deep responsibility to do it right, to pick that wine that they'll like and they'll enjoy it even though it is inexpensive. So a lot of people trust me, and I really value that trust, and I don't want to break it, for sure. So the reason Spanish wines are so expensive, or you can get some good Spanish wines at a low price, part of it is government subsidies. They help the wineries. But think about this. They've had these wineries for a long time. Land is cheaper in Spain. Labor is cheaper in Spain. A lot of these wineries own their vineyards. They've owned them for a long time. So it doesn't cost as much to produce the wines. They also have a fair amount of volume, which helps keep the price down as well. They have perfect conditions for growing grapes. They don't have to use any pesticides. They don't have to do a lot of vineyard maintenance to keep to make those vines grow. A lot of countries, like in the U.S., they have to do that. So there's a lot of money put into equipment and different things that they need to make those vines grow. But in Spain, they don't have that problem, and they use mostly indigenous grapes. So they have a lot of different grape varietals in Spain. They stick to those. And they have a really good distribution system for getting those bottles out there for lesser cost. So there you go. Those are some of the reasons why Spanish wines are such good values. We're going to look at this. Why is this my pick of the month? Well, Monastrell is also called Mataro and also called Mourvedre. And most of us maybe are familiar with Mourvedre. That's where they say it in France, in the Rhone Valley. They say Mourvedre. But Monastrell, according to Jancis Robinson, is the original name of the grape. And I think I looked it up, but I'm not sure, it wasn't really clear in the article, but the French started calling it because of a certain city that sounded like Mourvedre in Spain. So they picked up the name Mourvedre instead of Monastrell. Anyway, they call it Monastrell or Mataro in Spain. This one is Piano Rivero Monastrell, made with organic grapes. Once again, I'll show you this from Jumilla is the region. And it is, sorry for that pregnant pause there. I wonder where that came from. And it's $9. Okay, I've already sold quite a bit of this. It's only the 6th of April today. It's my pick for April. Color on this is pretty good. You can see through it a little bit, but it's kind of a reddish, darker reddish color. Let's see what we get on those. I get some nice boysenberry, cranberry, plum notes on this one. There's just a hint of tea leaf, like black tea leaf on this one. Maybe a little bit of green tea leaf as well. And I'm getting some nice like rose hip aromas on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. Just really nice and smooth. Has a nice richness to it, which is incredible. And then it finishes dry with a little bit of minerality. It has plum notes, blackberry notes. I get that kind of red, kind of rose hip notes and a little bit of that tea coming through on the palate. But this is like a 10 in the delicious category. It's just really smooth, nice complexity really. There's just a hint of like black pepper spice coming through. The red flower notes are really cool. The tannins are softer on this one, even though Mourvedre can be somewhat tannic, but this one doesn't really have a huge hit of tannins. Just super approachable, super delicious, nicely layered, and it is only $9. I'm even getting a little of a black olive characteristic. And there's just a touch of a tea on the back end. This would be a great food one if you're in hamburgers, pizza, anything like that. But it's also a good wine that you could just enjoy a movie with and have a glass of it. And this is one of the things I'm really striving to do, is to get younger people interested in wine. I know a lot of them are going to ready to drink cocktails. Bourbon's a big thing. Of course, with the legalization of marijuana in the state of Washington, of course, I go to that one, and edibles and things like that. There's a lot of things competing with wine these days, but wine is such a healthy beverage, used in moderation, and it's way better for you than a lot of these other things that people are drinking or eating or smoking. Just saying. So with a $9 price point, I think a lot of younger people would say, hey, that's not such a bad deal. I'm going to try it. And they will like this wine. I can almost guarantee it. This is getting edging to a 90% wine, in my humble opinion. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I hope you appreciated this episode. I'm going to try and actually review my pick of the month each month. I forget sometimes. I get all wrapped up in doing something else. But yes, and the finish on this one is still there, which is really, really cool. So, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Tell your friends about this channel if you're enjoying what you're seeing. I would like to see I have a good audience now, and I'd like to see that grow. And I love teaching about wine, and I love talking about it, and I love helping people find really good values. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.